It is that time of the year again, ladies and gentlemen. The Game Awards are upon us, and the Game Awards have grown to be a pillar of the industry, right? A lot of recognition, a lot of love for a lot of games that rightfully deserve it. And I am really excited for this year's in particular because it's a strange year. We all know that. The current state of affairs in the world in general makes it so that this is probably going to be a show unlike any other, and I'm excited to check it out. But today we are here to talk about the nominees for the Game of the Year award. They are kind of expected, but they also say a lot about the state of the industry, in my opinion, and we are here to talk about that today. Hello everybody, Gabe here. If you haven't already done so, make sure to hit that like button. It helps the channel out a ton. You guys have no idea, and I really appreciate it. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. I have links in the description for both, and hey, go show some love. All right, cool. Let's talk about it. The nominees are Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and The Last of Us 2. Those games are all so different from one another. First of all, I want to talk about Animal Crossing. I love that it's there, even though I may not love Animal Crossing. It's a game that isn't for me. It's never been for me, that series in particular. It isn't what I look for in video games, but I'm glad that it's getting the recognition. It is one of the top, if not the top selling games of the year, being on only one platform, a Nintendo platform, on a year when next gen is happening. It's still selling. It's still doing crazy well. Updates are still happening. They're supporting the heck out of the game. You know, a lot of you know my good friend Zach, he is still covering and having a ton of fun with that game. So even though it's not for me, I'm glad that it is there for the people that love that series. I don't believe it wins, but hey, I'm glad it's there. Damn near the polar opposite of what Animal Crossing is though, right? Because Animal Crossing is just this little like time management adventure game where you collect bells, and it's super, super cute. Doom Eternal. Not so cute, but super fun, right? Crazy, fast-paced action. The best shooter of the year, hands down. That isn't a battle royale. Whether you guys like battle royale or not, that's not what I'm here to discuss. But it feels like shooters have kind of like fallen off a little bit outside of BR, because BR is still the most popular genre in the world right now. Seeing a game like this that is just a more traditional first-person shooter, I absolutely love it. We got some DLC that gave people more of what they wanted from Doom Eternal. A banging soundtrack, crazy, fast action, gore, all the gore. It's really kind of sick, but I love it, and I know a lot of other people love it, and I'm glad that it got nominated, even though that this is another one that I think has no shot in hell. Get it? Hell? Ah, I'm a genius. Not really, but another game that has no shot. This one has no shot in Midgar. All right, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, as much as I love Final Fantasy VII, and I do, it's one of the first RPGs that I beat 100% on my own. I have that nostalgia that should make the remake like super great for me, and it is, right? I just don't think it's Game of the Year caliber. It's not the full game. The experience is so big that they are spacing it out into multiple releases. I'm sure the next release is going to be on PlayStation 5 and not PlayStation 4, but this was like a great swan song for RPGs on PlayStation 4. And I'm sorry if there's like some other ones that came out after that you really enjoyed, but 7 Remake was the last one for me. And what they did here, like the level of remake that they had with Final Fantasy VII is unlike anything we've really seen before. I think the closest we get is like the Resident Evil remakes, because they take something that is super old and they freshen it up so much that it still really fits. It looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. Refinements in the gameplay with Final Fantasy VII in particular. I love it. I just think that there's no chance whatsoever that it wins. I forgot to mention Hades. Oh my God. Hades was mentioned. And here's where we're going to stop for a second. I hope that you guys didn't yell at me when I said all the nominees earlier and I didn't mention Hades. We'll give Hades some extra love right now, because this was honestly what I wanted to talk about the most. The fact that we have huge AAA games on the list of nominees, like The Last of Us 2, like Doom Eternal. And then we also have this indie that has been out before, right? It was in early access for damn near a year before the 1.0 version released this year, and then they just had this onslaught of attention, and rightfully so. The game is fantastic. I love Hades. I've spent dozens of hours on it. I have beat the game, right? But even after you beat the game, there's still so much to do. And let's just stop and give applause for a second. I'm trying to not hit my mic because I keep unplugging this cord, and I don't want to mess up the recording this time. But slow clap, because what they did over there at Supergiant is something that doesn't happen a lot, where you make a game that is so different, right, but still demands attention. I hate roguelikes. I hate them. It's one of the genres that I just try to stay away from. There's so many of them. None of them really do anything new, and it's just not fun for me. But Hades just smashed all of that, right? It subverted all my expectations, and it brought a crazy good time, fun characters, cool story, and yes, the areas are repetitive, but every run is different because of all the powers and abilities you get. I love Hades, and I can't say that about a lot of roguelites. And the fact that it belongs on a list with The Last of Us 2, and Doom Eternal, and Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Animal Crossing, and Ghost of Tsushima, that should be applauded. The diversity in this list is insane to me, right? We have huge AAA games like The Last of Us, Doom Eternal, right? I mean, all of these are AAA in their own right, except Hades. Hades is not AAA. And it's able to coexist, and it makes sense. And I feel like for a lot of people, maybe Hades is their game of the year. I know people that have spent hundreds of hours on the game, and I said this earlier, but once you finish it, there's still incentive to go there. So I hope that this has been enough to show some love to Hades, and maybe even make up for the fact that I didn't mention it when I first mentioned the list. It just slipped my mind. And I don't think it wins, but this one wouldn't shock me. I would be shocked if Animal Crossing won. I would be shocked if Final Fantasy won, but I would not be shocked if Hades won. The press love it. And again, rightfully so. It's such a beautiful, beautiful game. In a lot of ways, right? The Last of Us 2 is really, really good to look at, right? Animal Crossing, super cute. It's a cute, cute game. And Hades is super cute, but for different reasons. And you know who you are. Yeah, you. Yeah, some of you take your love for Hades a little too far with the visuals and the cuteness. Wink, wink. Okay, regardless, let's move on. Ghost of Tsushima, a game that I love. I love that game. I feel like they perfected the Assassin's Creed formula, and more so than even Ubisoft, because Valhalla came out this year and it is their most successful Assassin's Creed game ever, but it's not one I care to finish, even though I've played like 60 hours of it at this point. It is so long, it is so overstuffed, there's a lot to do, right? And if that's your thing, awesome. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is for you. But that game is a little too much for me. Ghost of Tsushima kind of condensed it all and gave me side missions that I cared about, gave me rewards for those missions that were cool. New abilities, new weapons, new armor. And they just did everything so much better than Valhalla, in my opinion. I still think Valhalla is a good game. It's just maybe a little too long for me. Like, that gameplay loop does not keep my attention for that long. I don't need 80 to 90 hours of that exact same gameplay loop. And the story in Valhalla, while I like the characters, the story itself kind of lost me. And that wasn't the case with Ghost of Tsushima. That familial rivalry between an uncle and a nephew and a surrogate father figure really resonated with me for whatever reason, and I loved seeing it all the way through. A beautiful world, beautiful, beautiful world. Sucker Punch did such a great job with it, and we don't get games in this style very often, so I'm glad that we have an opportunity with Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if it's Tsushima or Tsushima, either one of those. And I hope we get the sequel. I feel like it's selling well enough and it reviewed really well, so hopefully we do get a sequel. There's been mention of it already, and let's just hope it does end up happening. The Last of Us 2, though, the only game on the list we haven't really spoken about, and that's because I think this is what wins. I think, right? The game is divisive. It's as divisive as all hell. I personally didn't like the Abby sections all that much. I know people that love the game that haven't finished it, even though they love it because of the Abby stuff. And not so much that like Abby's a bad character or whatever. There's no issue with that. It's just that her gameplay session is so like her portion is long. It is a long game. And maybe that's like a recurring thing with me as a gamer. Like, I don't need these games to be 40, 30 hours long. Like, let's condense them down to 10, 15 hours and then just have a truly awesome experience. But I love The Last of Us 2. I think it's what wins. I think the thing that has like the second most chance of winning is probably Ghost of Tsushima, but it's hard to see anything other than The Last of Us 2 winning. Although, you know, the audience being divisive because they didn't like where the story went. But it's a masterclass of game development. Naughty Dog just can't seem to miss. They continue to knock every single game they release out of the park. And overall, to see the variety here, right? Animal Crossing, Hades, The Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy Remake, Doom. Huge diversity, and it seems like that's where we're going in this industry. More games for everyone, and then we end up with Game of the Year lists like this, where there is a little something for everyone, and I'm happy that everyone is kind of represented, right? You like hardcore shooters? Cool. You like RPGs? Cool. You like cute games? You got 2 of those. One is extra cute. And The Last of Us 2 for the more mature, big AAA game. But there you have it. What do you guys think is going to win at the Game Awards? I'm excited, right? It's going to be a weird show all around. Hopefully we still get some really cool announcements and reveals because that's been a big part of the show in the past. And I'm really looking forward to it. Kudos to Jeff Keighley. He does a great job. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the support. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. It helps the channel out a ton. And follow me on Twitch and Twitter. I stream 3 times a week. And if you follow me on Twitter, you get to keep up with when I stream. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.